4, 3, 2, 1. We are all here shooting this shit with our hosts, DJ Duss and Bamboo Bam. Let's go.
Oh, what's up? We're live on Shooting the Shit podcast. I'm your host, DJ Duss, with my co-host, Bamboo.
What's up? What's up?
Bam, we have a late one, a late Saturday one.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we got to do we're fans of Australia, so we have to do the late ones. We have to put it in, you know?
Put in the work, you know?
It's 1 p.m. where she's at, it's 11 where I'm at, and it's midnight where you're at.
Yeah.
See? I got to love this shit, man.
You know?
The world, man. Everyone's connected somehow. We got to do it. You know what I mean?
Just matter of a little time zone.
Did you take a nap before you did this? Or?
Yep.
Good for you.
Yep, definitely.
Good for you. You have to do it, man. You got to take a nap sometimes.
Get old for that shit.
It is what it is, man.
know?
All right, people, like our Facebook page. You can stream all our live episodes, watch our old ones, comment, question, be a part of the show. You can do the exact same thing on YouTube. Stream all our live episodes there. Watch all the old ones. That's at Shooting the Shit podcast. Once this show is done, it gets uploaded on all major streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Amazon Music, all that other stuff. There's too much to list. I'll just name 4 for now. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. But it's been, what's up? Alex, you up too, man? Damn. What's up, Alex? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about getting live. People get to be a part of the show. Anyways, like I said, we have a great artist. I end up finding her on Instagram. No, actually, it was actually Facebook. But you got to love the internet world. Okay. So it was one of those quick, add her. She's like, thank you for adding me. I was like, yo, where are you from? Australia. We connected. And you know what? We need to get her on ASAP. Talent is needed. It's out there. We need people to know. So let's get her on right now. Cat Thompson. How you doing, Cat?
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
So it's 1 p.m. where you're at, right?
That's right.
Yeah, see? Damn.
Crazy
she's in the future right now. She's in the future right now. You know what I mean?
She's day ahead on vacation.
I'm always like, what's going on tomorrow? That's what I ask her. You know, how are things with you?
You know?
Well, it's going good. Nothing has changed much since yesterday where you are. So
okay, it's good news. Good news. You know, we call you up for the news. You know, we want to be ahead of the curve. You know, but it's
a little bit.
It's
all
cool
right.
though, man.
So let's get this started. Where were you born and raised?
So I was born in Brisbane, in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
which is in the state of Queensland. It's a sunny, beautiful, really laid-back state. So most people, you walk down the street, they'll greet you. They'll just be like, "G'day, mate!" Like they're really friendly.
That's funny that you said that, because we've had a few Australian people on here, and you guys are probably the nicest, sweetest people. Punctual. Like, we have a huge time difference, but somehow we message each other perfectly. No one skips a beat in this situation, which I find it made me more, as beautiful as Australia looks and the weather is just to die for. Getting to meet a few of you on here has made me want to go even more now. It's something that me and Bam have always talked about. We want to head down to Australia.
That's that long flight. That's the only thing, you know.
It is, but it's worth it.
It's worth it, huh?
I know. You know, there's two things that's going to happen, Bam. It's once I fly in, I might have to start applying for work because I'm not leaving because the flight's too long. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to be like, yo, I got to quit my job because, because what is it, a 14-hour flight from where I'm from?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So and the good thing is we can fly out west to Vancouver. There's a friend of ours, and we can meet up with him and stay with him for a day. You know, not be in the plane the whole time. But we can break it down for sure. But it is what it is. So let's get right into it. So who influenced you to being an artist?
I have so many. There's just so many incredible, talented artists and creators that paved the way for everyone who's a musician today. So when I was a child, I think The Bodyguard was on TV or something like that. So I heard that, and I think I was 2 or something at the time.
Okay.
Mom had it playing in the background. Absolutely. And so I was that, that child that finds, all the kids that do, I think this generation's children did Let It Go, that song. So I was that, but with Whitney Houston's Bodyguards hit list. So everything like Whitney Houston in that era, I was in a 2-year-old voice screeching that in the house. So that's where it all began, and I'm so sorry to my parents. I'm sure kids growing up now would be like, "I'm sorry for singing Let It Go too much."
I still will put money on that your 2-year-old voice is better than mine at any age. just throwing it out there, you know what I mean? Just giving it. But Whitney's definitely a great influence.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I don't know if you watched any of the documentaries of Whitney. Me and Bam watched it back at his place when I went and visited him.
Yeah.
And I have to on air apologize to Bobby because I blame Bobby for everything. I thought Whitney was innocent.
Blame Bobby.
I did. I blamed him without even checking or you know what I mean or facts. I was just like, Bobby's the worst. But it was a cool documentary. You know what? Probably one of the most talented singers. Yeah. Definitely in the top three. Definitely in the top three.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's like the voice that influenced so many other artists and so many creators today. True. So 100%. I've just major respect for her, and I think most people across the world are still in awe to this day at how incredible her voice was.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
How old were you when you started taking this music business serious?
So I've been singing since I was little, and I always knew I wanted to be a singer. I always knew. It was one of those things like, you know how some people they have to find what they want to do. Like I just knew what I always wanted to do, but it wasn't until that's awesome because then you can explore so many different things. True. But like for me, when I was 13, that's when I was really vocal about it. Like,
so you're vocal, but there's still vocal and singing and performing at school or in front of friends. But there's a moment where you're actually taking money and getting studio time. 13. That's when I think it's serious because you know what I mean. That's an investment in yourself.
13,
you know what I mean?
She says.
Yeah, I was. I was really because I'm half Northern Irish and half Filipino. So, wherever you go in the world, there is a Filipino community. Like there was a joke somewhere I heard that we just sprout out like mushrooms. We're everywhere.
Good. I like that.
It's a beautiful thing. Like wherever I go in the world, I'll always find another Filipino person who will be able to connect with me. And being half Filipino, they automatically accept you into the community. They're so beautiful in that way.
That's cool.
So, when I was a kid, there would be always Filipino events on, and so they would open up opportunities for young people in the community to get out there and perform, and they would even pay you. They'd actually be like, So most places,
I know.
Some places they wouldn't. Sometimes they wouldn't, but other times like they'd be like, okay, we'll get you to come in and we'll pay you to perform. And I was like, yay! So
wow.
Like as a kid, I was like, this is great. I'm doing what I love, and I'm getting some extra cash on the side. Like this is awesome.
Getting that support you need. need.
Have you ever been paid for a performance?
No. Couple later on, and when I got a little older, it's like, hey, you know what? No more freebies. You know what I mean? But most of the time in the beginning, they always try to get you. Always get you. You know,
we try to get you. But now, see, if it wasn't for the communities, and thank God for the communities that accepted you and had these events, but do you find it harder as a woman to break through in the music industry?
I don't know if it's harder being female in the sense where there are incredible artists, like we've already listed a couple, like Whitney, for example. Of course. Have made major doorways open for so many women out there for various different styles of music as well. But I think as a woman, the hardest thing that I faced was getting respect when I walked into a studio. So that was the hardest thing. So being a girl and being young, one of those two things, I've been writing music since I was a kid. I play piano, I play guitar, I play various instruments, I write. And I've been doing that since I was young. Right. So when I walked into these studios as a teenager and even as a young adult, a lot of the producers and things, and I mean, I'm sure they've had these experiences where someone comes in and they say, I can do this. And they're like, yeah, sure, give them a shot. And then the person doesn't have the skill set to follow up. But I faced walking in and they'd be like, no, don't write. We'll take care of that. Don't have an opinion. We'll take care of that. Yeah. And I even had a producer one time, not producer, a potential manager. I sat down, we talked. We were talking shop. And he asked what my goals were, what I wanted to do. Of course. And then he basically patted me on the head and said, just be an artist. Just be a pretty girl. That's all you need to be. Just smile. Just be nice. And that's all you need. We'll take care of the rest for you. And I was like, terrible. But I should have a right to say,
absolutely.
Like, this is my career as well as your career, because if we work together, then that's something that we should grow together, as opposed to, you're a girl.
Of course, that's the thing, right? I always said this on the podcast, is like, a manager, a label, whatever the case may be, they saw something in you to work with you. I wouldn't want to say, someone that's not very good at something and be like, can you be my manager? I'd probably say no. You know what I mean? Like, we're not both not going to get anywhere. But if you see talent and then you're not giving the talent the voice to lead where they kind of want, and you should support them as a manager. I never understood. Even like we were talking about, we talked about this a few times about the record labels wanting to change you. And we're like,
they always do.
We're like, hold on a sec. But you found the talent, and now you want to change it? You know what I mean? It blew my mind. It always blows my mind. It's like, there's obviously something that caught your eye and ear, so why do you want to change this? And now the fact that someone's patting you on the head and says, yeah, just be an artist, no, that's not cool.
They got a lot of problems, man. They see the talent. They see it. They go, oh, yeah, okay. But it's either they go two ways. It's either they want you to be super different or they want you to go with the trend. You know what I mean? And it's like, wait a minute. I'm good enough to be either or, but it's my choice to choose. They just trying to choose it for you, and that sucks. You know what I mean?
So, Kat, how'd you handle that situation?
Well, I think the most important thing is to surround yourself with people who believe in your mission and believe in you as a person and believe in your skills and are willing to grow with you. So I chose not to work with those people.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's one of those things, like, I've also been in situations where I walked into management deals and I thought, this is great, we've connected. And then down the track, you start to know more about the person and more about the people you're working with, and you're like, whoa, okay, this is not in line with, this is not good for my emotional and psychological journey as a human being. So, and so you have to make those decisions for yourself, what you can handle, what you can't handle, and where you draw the line. And so at times I got to a point where I was like, well, you know what? Yes, you could probably further my career in certain directions, but this is a really awful position to be in. And I would look back in years from now and ask myself, why did you stay there? And I think it's like a relationship. It's kind of like, it's essentially, I mean, a relationship of all different sorts, whether it's a business relationship or a person that you're in love with, like, you want that to be a healthy space. And essentially, if they start abusing that space, you have to be very, you need to sit there and reassess. And
that's right. So we're all human, right? Some people do that, right? So.
Yeah. So, and I've had some beautiful people I've worked with as well.
Absolutely. No, it's not all bad. It's never all bad. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
If you wanted to turn someone into a fan of your music, what video or song that you would recommend them to hear first?
I always recommend the latest thing I've released, only because I'm so excited about that, and I know that's a very standard thing.
No, that's fair.
It's your new thing, and you're like, this is my new thing, it's shiny.
Absolutely.
And then if they love that, and it's also probably the direction that you're heading in at that time, so sound-wise. So
that's true.
I always recommend that. And then if they want to go down the rabbit hole and discover all the other pieces of my soul, they're welcome to.
Is there anything you recorded over the years, maybe in the beginning, that you're like, I hope no one listens to? Like, you ever have one of those?
Luckily, the stuff that I've released is stuff that I really love. So
that's good.
Luckily, but I do know like there have been things that I've recorded in the past that are sitting in archives that I'm like, please nobody find it.
Okay, it's cool. Because I remember even as a kid, you know, Bam, as a kid, if you do anything, a freestyle, a performance at school, there's no cameras really. No one really owned a video camera when me and Bam were growing up. So now it's my word versus theirs. You know what I mean? It's like, that never happened. I have no idea.
But it's hard to deny it when the person was actually there. You know what I mean? It's like, I heard you. Stop it. You know what I mean?
Exaggerating. That's what you got to say, Bam. The exaggerating. That's what you got to say.
It's performances, I think, that are the ones that I look back on when I was like younger. And, you know, the basic mistakes that you make. And like one of them, like a friend of mine who's a dancer, he and I knew each other for years. And like we've still got videos and things of each other performing. And he'll pull up stuff from when I was like 12 and be like, haha, look at this. And I'm like, and it's because you've got that sort of sibling sort of relationship.
Yeah, of course. Trust me, if I have something of Bam's, I'm showing it. Don't get me wrong. It's vice versa.
And I swear, I hated Facebook for it, and I still do to this day. You know, people are still getting blindsided by pictures from back in the day from people that they ain't talked to for 20 years. I had like 4 pictures pop up there. I was like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Like,
it's funny, Bam, it's funny you said that. You never came to my house on Viewmount, but I finally got this house party, and I had the best neighbors. They're all deaf. Like, I used to open the door and apologize to my neighbors. I'm like, sorry about last night. And they're like, huh? And I was like, this place is the best. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I have the best house. And we throw the biggest. And I was a DJ. So I had like all the DJ gear. And every week would just be a house party. And, you know, we would break out some funnels and people would have raised. It was like a frat house, okay, when I was younger. And this one girl's taking pictures. And I went, you'll get rid of those. She's like, I will never post them up. Years later, like Bam says, she opens a Facebook account, and what comes up is those pictures. And I'm like, delete those. Delete those. Get rid of those. You know what I mean? And that's things. It's private. It was in my house, you know? So, but the thing is, it's something that's more similar these days with camera phones. It's so easy now, right? Like, you can just, boop, you know what I mean? So Bam took a picture of me in Montreal. I wasn't feeling very well, we'll say.
Oh, yeah. It ain't go up. I ain't gonna put that up.
No, because you wouldn't be a part of the show. You'd be murdered.
No, I'll
You'd
be
have
part
your
of the
funeral.
show. I'll be part of the show. That's not it. This is one of those pictures where every once in a while you just send it to his phone. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Just to go, don't forget.
But Cat, he doesn't tell you the full story. I paid for all the drinks that night. I paid for the hotel, and he still takes a picture of me.
Yes.
What a nice guy, right? Yes. What a nice guy. That's my friend over there. My brother over here.
And he would do the same thing.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
Did you know that he took pictures of his wife in Dominican when she was getting sick?
Oh, yeah.
See, this is what kind of man this guy is.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let him be your manager. I'll tell you that right now. But Cat, are you
friends?
That's all we are. From distance, from over there. He lives far from me. I don't want to be close to him. This is too close. I got to be somewhere else. I got to get a smaller box on the screen here. But Kat, are you currently signed to a label or are you independent?
So I'm independent. I'm signed to artist management. So I'm signed to Progressive Artist Management. They're based in
So how does that work? Explain that to me a little bit for people that don't know.
So when you sign to management, they will take care of things like setting up opportunities, but they're not a record label. So record labels do all the shebang. So they sign up, they'll do a, depending on what you've negotiated, they may do an advance, and from there they make sure that everything's all in all the stores.
Is this the route you want to go? You want to stay independent, or would you be, open to being, signed to a label?
I think when it comes down to it, I love being able to write and create the things that I love.
Yes.
But I think if the right relationship came along, and that's where, like, that's a reflection of relationships and business relationships that I've had over the years. If the right relationship came along and they had the same goals in mind, which I think is. I think, like I said, with relationships, that's the most important thing. Like, you go into it and you should both have a similar goal in mind.
Yes.
And so if that came along and all the semantics around it were right, I wouldn't be opposed to signing to a label. So I'd be happy with that, or I'd be happy to be independent. Either way, as long as the direction is right. And that's, of course. Thing. So whereas I know people who are friends who a label came along, handed them a contract, they were like, oh my god, shiny signed.
Yep, that's and me. No.
And later on they were like, oh no, this is not what I wanted. And it's so I think one of the most important things is to know what you want and to ask when another person comes into the picture, are you on the same journey as me? So,
True, understandable. What's your favorite performance ever?
Oh, I have too many.
I like that. Good answer.
I think it's every single performance has been fun. Every audience brings a different energy. I've really enjoyed. I went to do some shows over in the Solomon Islands, and so they have that beautiful tropical weather. And so we did an open air performance. And,
talking about tropical weather, like
I know.
Okay,
like it's normal. Like normal.
She's like,
it's like beautiful island vibes, and people are so nice, and so that was really fun. And I've done performances up and down in Australia and other places, and like every single performance, every single crowd, they're all beautiful, and they all just have a different. Each one of them comes with a different vibe. So.
True enough. Okay. I got a question. So when it comes to mainstream radio, where you're from, do you find it like hard to get your song to get some airplay through the mainstream radio? Because here it's like impossible.
I've read somewhere that the standard way for those things, and I think it's a global thing, is whether you're signed to a label, usually a major label, or you have to pay a radio plugger for those sort of things.
It's disgusting.
And so I think that's the thing. Like, there are I've had one of my songs play on major radio here,
Okay.
but I didn't do any of those avenues. There was a DJ who played, and I've never met him.
Okay, that's good.
He initially found my our connection. He found my stuff online and was just
That's
like,
that's the best. That's the best way of connecting with people. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and he literally just like hit me up, was just like, I like this. I'm adding it to the radio, and I was like, oh, thank you.
That's the way to do it. Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Old school. Radio, the DJ breaks the artist. You know what I mean? Not the record label, the DJ.
Yeah, so I think like it's not impossible. And I think it definitely is possible, but I do know that if you just want to guarantee to get it on there are the avenues, and you have to have the funding for that. So.
Well, the good thing is, Bam and I have always talked about this. We always debate about everything. Everything. But the good thing about like your song not being played on the radio, let's be realistic. They are gonna disappear. Like with all these other streams of music, I clicking on the radio is the laziest form of me playing background music in my car. It's the laziest form. It's that quick like, oh, I'll just press the button because I didn't sync my phone or stick in a USB key or press the satellite button. It is the laziest form. And don't get me wrong, it usually lasts about 11 minutes before I turn it back off because I don't want to listen to this. You know what I mean? They've been forcing this down my throat for about 3 years now. No, thank you. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, like we were like, I remember when me and Bam on the way up, you wanted to get your song on the radio, right? Bam, there was no Spotify or stuff like that, right?
No, that was the only.
The nightclubs would play it. The nightclub DJ would play it. But the radio, which was mass,
big goal.
Yes,
big goal
and yeah, you'd be happy to get it on the radio, and it's like you need to learn to get the right people. Or Bam had a song on our radio station here, but it was like a battle of the beats, like their song, their local guy versus another artist, and we call it and vote. And you know what I mean? And we were talking about that. They don't even have that anymore. Like, so it's like it feels kind of sad that they're not supporting what's around your community or in your own country, because it's like, really, like what's going on? Like we had a few great artists on here that I grabbed their songs and I actually sent it to our local radio station here and be like, yo, so and so was on X Factor, so and so was on Canadian Idol, you know, their names, people, they've been on television, and they're like, oh, they're great. You can send it to the satellite radio through your television, you know, with the box, you know, you flick on your cable and there's those music channels. I was like, yeah, I could have done that without asking you, but that even no one's doing that anymore. Like, I'm just so shocked and embarrassed of like, this is what we're getting at. But you know what? Shame on them, because if they were playing your music and Bam's music and stuff, I would be on there listening. But the same 8 songs that they're playing, I don't care to listen to it now. So they're losing me as a fan. So, and I think they're gonna lose the whole radio station in general. Soon enough, we're gonna have a podcast 20 years from now. You're gonna be back on here, and we're gonna say, do you remember the radio?
You're like, what?
There used to be a thing on the radio that played 8 songs.
Yeah. That thing in the car that when you buy a car, they give you one of those standards. We don't use those anymore.
Yeah, we don't use those on ours. That's my prediction. But anyways, is there anything you would change?
Back in 20 years, and we'll have a bet on it.
Exactly, 20 years. We're coming right back here. 20 years to the date, you know. So, Kat, is there anything you would change in the music industry? Anything at all?
I think the main thing that I would love, especially for young artists, is a clearer path into what to do and how to navigate this. Like, I have some beautiful friends that when we were leaving school, they already had a clear path. Like one of my friends went on to be a doctor, another one went on to nursing, or another one went on to law, and they all had a clear path. Like, they knew they had a certain number of years to study, and then a certain examination that they had to study. Like, you had to pass the bar, then you would work a certain number of years as an intern in a certain company, and then from there you knew how long you would be in each position to get to where you wanted to be. Same thing as my friend who, I mean, you can always move around within companies, and you can change your roles around and things like that. change direction, but they all had we would have career counselors. I'm quite certain you guys would have that there for kids in school. You'd have a career counselor that would come in, sit down, and be like, "All right, what's your path?"
That's right.
And
if you said music, they'd be like,
yeah, they kind of go, "Well, you've got the Conservatorium of Music, and here you go." And that's I mean that's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and I have so much respect for all the conservatoriums around the world. They're incredible. But then the question is, what happens if you want to get into popular music, like as in commercial music, so not popular music? And what happens if I want to be a rock star, or if like you're in a band and you want to do that? So I feel like it's not as, and I'd love for those programs to be brought into schools so that. It's not where, as a musician, we step out of school and then we have to try and find the avenue ourselves. It's part of, this is how you get into the music industry. Here are your career options, and are you more suited to a background role? Would you like to be a producer? This is the course that you would do. This is, I think those sort of things
would be helpful. It definitely would be helpful, because, you just pretty much, it was get a manager, get signed, there you go, you're a rock star. That was the basic quote unquote rules to the game, but over time the game has changed. A lot of little secrets got leaked out because, like you said, your friend signed a contract, ooh, shiny, and realized this is not what they want. So they went and educated the next people behind them to say, don't be so fast, ask these questions and ask that. So in a sense, as artists, we're learning from each other. You know what I mean? Especially when the artist is mad and he's on a rant. We're paying attention. We're like, Most people don't care, but I'm like, oh, really? You know what I mean? Okay, I might definitely get on to that, right? So it would be better if we can bring it into the schools. Would be nice for everybody, but the
it's
game.
It's a massive industry that makes so much money, and there are so many people that go into the industry, and I would love for the younger generations coming through not to have to jump over the hurdles that we've had to jump over, and have a lot more of a clear path so that they're a lot more protected that way. Because I mean, if you go into any other career path, it's a lot more streamlined. It's so much easier to get information as well. I think the internet's been fantastic. We've now got access to this information, but I remember times before the internet where we just didn't have that kind of information readily available.
Not an idea.
Well, so many moving parts with this music industry. You got your writers, your producers, your managers, you got the labels, you got the publishing rights, you got this, you got that. You got people for every aspect. And when you get into the music industry, they don't tell you. You know what? The music industry itself is a whole bunch of different careers. Like if you was to join the military, what do you want to be? A doctor? You want to be, you know what I mean? Like a rifleman? You want to be this? They give you options. With the music, they don't. It's just get a manager, this and this, and it's like, why is he taking care of all this business for me? You know what I mean? It just sucks.
It's a tough industry for sure, because you're right. It is. You kind of get in, even though you have talent, you walk into it blind technically. Like I'm great. I know where to get to the studio. I can try and force my way into a performance, and then what? The good thing about being independent now is they actually give us the access of putting our stuff on Spotify and Amazon Music and all that stuff, which is great, which is totally great. But it's still, I've always had the argument, great, you put it on, but there's still a lot to it after you put it on.
True.
You can put it on and no one knows that you're on. That's a whole nother situation, right? So it's a tough game to be in. But you're right. There is no right path, because it'd be nice to say, I want to be a music artist. And they're like, cool, let's teach you the music business. Let's talk about the promotional side of it. Let's talk about the number side of it. Let's talk about contract sides of it. Like, you don't have to be a lawyer, but it'd be nice to know a contract. Right? It'd be nice to be taught to read the little lines, right, Bam?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Between
you read those ones. Those are more important than the big bold ones. The big bold ones are trying to draw you in. But I know it.
What's those little ones? Let me get my glasses. Get up close. So
upside down in pig Latin.
Exactly.
If there was an artist that you would like to open up for, who would it be?
Oh, so many.
Give us some.
I think at the moment, like one of my biggest inspirations as a woman is actually J-Lo, and I think she's the epitome of what hard work and like what hard work can can bring, and what like the success that hard work can bring. Like she's been in the industry for so long,
Yeah.
and she reinvents herself, and she comes out with stuff that like that like just she's like always upping her game, and I think that's so incredible to watch her journey. Because when I was younger, she was obviously on like your TV hits and like the equivalent of like MTVs and things like that back when I was younger. And so I was growing up with seeing her on the screen, and like to see that she's still in the game now, and she's so beautiful, and to look as incredible as she does at her age.
We want to drink that water too. Yeah.
So do I. I'm like, what are you eating? I want that. So she's amazing, and I think that it's great to look at a woman who is older and is still doing what she loves.
She's relevant. Everyone knows who she is. She's not forgotten one bit.
Yeah, and like I want to be like that when I'm.
And you gotta be. Let's be real with J-Lo for a second. Let's be real here. Her acting roles in the beginning were not in the greatest movies. Her first album was, when you break it down as a producer and an artist and being in the music industry, it was simple. It was. Don't get me wrong. I play her music still, but it was simple. But she grew, bro. She grew as an artist and an actress. Like her movie roles got better, bigger, and that's the hard work she put in. Her music changed and developed and got better.
She grew as a bit. She grew as a brand. You know what I mean? The J-Lo brand.
And it was because at first, I remember in the movie Anaconda. You know what I mean? And I was just like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, it's an okay movie. The snake's scary. I hate snakes still, But and then she breaks out her first album. If I had if I had your love, and the one with Fat Joe, like it was a good album, but you really listen to the lyrics, they dumbed it down, and I was like, but it's safe. It was safe, and it was played in the clubs, and it was marketed right.
Yep.
Dude, after that, her movie roles were a lot better. Her music stepped way up, and it is hard work at the end of the day. This woman put hard work. She killed it at the Super Bowl a few years ago with Shakira. Killed it. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely. Do you have another one that you'd love to open for? Another artist?
Yeah, I mean, if only you were still alive, I would have loved to even just meet Michael Jackson.
Yes.
I was so devastated when I knew that they did the shows in the UK.
Okay.
They booked in like 11 shows or something initially in the UK, and I was like, oh my God, because we're in Australia, we're always like at the end of a world tour. I don't know whether it's just easier to go around the world.
Do you know what it is? It's because they want to come there, perform, and relax. And it's the best place to relax. I'm telling you right now. They're not staying up here to relax. I'm telling you.
Well, maybe that's what it is.
Hey, Bam, would you not want to end your tour in Australia?
You ended in Australia, you get to relax, and then you still got 14 hours to chill out on the way home. So.
Makes sense. Well, I mean, I was kind of like, okay, if they start in London, okay, they'll start doing all the shows across the world, and then hopefully he'll eventually get here, and I'll get to see him live. So I mean, I was so sad when.
That would have been good. That would have been good. I never got to see Michael live. I never got to see him live.
Oh really?
No. I was always a Prince fan.
Yeah, he was a Prince fan. It kind of threw me off when you said that to me in Dominican.
Always been a Prince fan. I got to see Prince live though.
Yeah,
was he where?
Oh yeah, in Ottawa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Prince was in Ottawa. Shit, I took the night off. Told the boss I'm not coming in on Saturday. Sorry. Figure it out.
And your boss was next to you at the Prince concert.
No.
No? Kat, what was your favorite? A concert that comes to mind? Was there a favorite concert that you enjoyed watching?
So the most recent one that I went to, which is obviously pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
We went to Melbourne, and which is now I think going into lockdown. But we went there. We flew there actually because we couldn't get the tickets for Bruno Mars, and that was an incredible concert. Like I had so much
Bam's
fun.
not a fan of Bruno Mars.
Really? Sorry.
Can you yell at him, Kat? Can you yell at him? Because I'm a fan. Can you yell at him for me? Can you save my breath? See?
I don't know.
Do you notice I have a better connections with the fans and the host and everyone else in here and the guests because you are so.
She appreciate older music. She wasn't a Prince fan. You know what I mean?
So what the fuck does that mean?
No. Truly.
That mean?
She wasn't a Prince fan, but most Prince fans
hate everyone else.
No, we appreciate Bruno, but we also see where his influence come from. You get what I mean? So this would don't make me a big
You think
fan.
it comes from Prince?
No, it comes from Morris Day, who was involved with Prince in the movies. You get what I'm saying? So his whole thing is Morris Day, and I'm just like, come on, man, you could do,
Cat, he's such a hater. He's such a hater.
I appreciate him for who he is, but he's not Morris Day.
I love Bruno Mars, man.
Have you seen him live though? He's really, really good. Like he's one of those. Like I enjoyed every moment of the show.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Bam, in Dominican, did you know when you go to what's that place called? We always say we're gonna go, we never go. You know,
With the cave?
All the performances there. You know that thing? We drive by it all the time, and all the shows are there, and there's a Spider-Man.
Yeah. I know the Congo Bongo, the big.
Congo Bongo. Yeah. Did you know there's a guy that does the lip singing of Bruno Mars? Would you have been mad if you saw him busted out?
I would probably be drinking.
I would have been laughing at you. I love Bruno Mars, man. I think that dude, like, especially when I was DJing the weddings, that dude saved my life. Like, he gave me a ton of music for them to play, the young and old.
Bruno.
Yeah.
You know what? When we go out, that's all I'm gonna play is Bruno Mars. No, Bruno Mars that's one hell of a choice. I would have saw his concert. That guy's see, Kat. This is what I got to deal with, Kat. See, this is you're gonna be my new co-host. I got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
Is there any?
If I could open for Bruno, I'd be like, yes.
Freaking right. Yes, absolutely.
Well, let me ask. So, is there any artists or producers you would love to work with in the future?
I think someone who I'd love to just talk to, if they just gave me a few minutes of the time, I'd just be so grateful. I'd love to talk to someone like Jay-Z, because he's turned what he had into an empire.
This is facts.
Yeah, and
what are you laughing at, Bam?
Like Timbaland, for example, who were in the studio and worked with people like Aaliyah and Missy Elliott. Like, I mean, some of these people who shaped the industry for, they obviously were there before I was a kid, but like I am so grateful for the music that I got to grow up with, because these people stepped into the game and made the world what it is. Like I think music shapes your experiences as well. It becomes part of your memories. And so if people had existed, I would have had not a different trajectory. I still would have been a musician, but I would have had a different musical experience going through life. So
true.
Like,
Kat, you brought up you brought up an American artist, you brought up a American producer. Did you have any Australian influences? Anyone that we might not know of? Yeah.
In Australia, growing up, we mostly have like rock artists, but I think we've got some beautiful artists here in Australia who are incredible. Vocally, so talented. Like we have, I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but there's a R&B, so hip hop. I wouldn't say hip hop. He does more like it's like a hip hop R&B sort of style beat.
Yeah.
He's dancing. There's an artist called Timbermatic who we're actually friends with, and he's amazing. Like,
that's awesome.
So if you want to check out his stuff, he's an incredible dancer.
If you after the show send me the link, I definitely want to check it out.
Yes.
If there's a link of any sort, Spotify or YouTube, I want to definitely check it out.
Yeah,
I just find, no offense, Bam's American, right? Like he lives in Canada. He's American now. I mean, he's Canadian now. Sorry, I take that back. But like, I just find that the whole world is influenced by the United States. But I know there's great talent everywhere else in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Canada broke through with Drake, and broke through with Justin Bieber, The Weeknd. You know, we broke through. We're on the charts now. We're doing all right. You know what I mean? So I just sometimes want to know, like, there's got to be influences in other countries. Like there has to be. Like there's got to be great art. There is another.
Broke through. That's all it is.
There's a podcast called The Get Down, and he's an Australian podcaster. Do you know what podcaster? I'm gonna link you guys up because there's no reason why he shouldn't interview you if you're in the same country. I'll link you guys up. And he brought up, like, he was interviewing a legend of the hip hop game, and I remember he played a quick of his song, and I was like, damn, this is so good. There's still so much stuff out there that we're missing out on, like, and it's just because we're kind of let's be real, we're kind of trapped in a bubble up here, Bam. American cat. We are.
That is, not really, because if we don't go,
see how we not agree on anything.
We can't agree on anything because a lot of people will say hip hop's kind of dead. You go what I mean? and it's not. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of hip hop artists out there that's nobody hearing right now. You got to go look for them. You get what I mean?
Okay. I agree.
You got to keep your ear to the streets. You know what I mean? And for the most of the time, we're getting older, so we're not really. We ain't got time to be trying to listen to who's this, who's that.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
You know, but the young kids, they telling me about rappers. I'm like, who?
That's
what?
true.
You know what I mean? So
That's
if
true.
they can break through, a lot of these people in the game now, careers are going to get crushed.
Well, it's funny
because these young kids are fucking.
Cat, I don't know how you manage to be on my people you may know list on my Facebook. She had a mic in her hand, and I was like, curiosity. I clicked on it. I'm like, she performs. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna approach her and see if she wants to do the podcast. She clicks on her, and she's super sweet. And again, I might move to Australia because they're the nicest people on earth. So, and right away I was like, give me your Spotify. And right away I was sitting there with Carm's a part of the show. He's always on the show with us. And I was just like, this is so good. And that's, again, you were saying you got to go look for it.
Yes.
You have to look for it. You're absolutely right. So,
You
but again, it's still, we're still, you and I are in that generation of a kind of a bubble. We did rely on the music videos on like Rap City or whatever, or the radio station play certain things.
Yeah.
So you and I are a little bit different on searching for stuff. We've been searching more for stuff because of the podcast itself.
Yeah.
But we've been bubbled.
True. We have, but like it's just like we were saying earlier with the younger generation. They don't have all the tools and the know-how and the knowledge to put themselves in this position where they can be out there and break through. You get what I mean? So they're getting to get on Spotify and this and that, so on and so on. But nobody's talking about marketing and get your stuff out there and this and that. Just
You're
to,
right.
Get that attention.
That's
and
good.
it's so hard to get that attention when you got $10 million over here flooding the fucking TVs with the commercials of BTS
that leads to the next question.
So and so.
That's good.
And
That's
you know
good.
what I mean?
I like that, Bam. So, Kat, my next question is, what is the biggest struggle of being an artist today? I know Bam mentioned that. That's definitely a struggle because, you get flooded with money. But what's the biggest struggle? What is yours?
I think the biggest struggle right now, relevant to this moment today, would be the pandemic. I think that's the biggest thing that's like we're going through. They say the music industry changed a lot over the last 20 years, since the 80s, but we've had more change in the last 12 months than we've had in all that time because everyone's now trying to find ways to earn money, how to adapt. People can't just go out there and do a gig. I mean, there are some places, yes, where we do have no lockdowns going on or a good control of the situation, and we have other places where people have been in lockdown for months, and so different places. And I think the thing is I feel so much for some of the musicians who aren't as internet or tech savvy because they're now forced into a situation where if they can't find they normally would go out to do their performances and they rely on that live performance or as their income or as their way to build fans. Whereas we've had to adjust to do everything on the internet because there's no other way at this time for me to reach my international fan base than on the internet. Whereas before the pandemic, I was originally going to move to LA. My management and I had gone through all the process of.
Who told you to give you that? Who gave you that advice?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
They're based in California, so I was going to move to the States. Yeah, so I was actually going to get I was 2 weeks away from getting on a plane. We'd done the whole thing. Yeah, and then literally all my shows in the US got cancelled overnight. And booking agent called management. My management was just like, what's going on? And next minute they were like, pandemic's hit the US. Everything's gone belly up. And we were like, what do you mean? What?
Crazy.
So I was literally that close to getting on a plane and being in the States and
trapped.
Yeah, and Australia's now closed its international borders, so even if I did want to leave, I can't leave. So or if I wanted to, it would be very difficult. So and those are things that I think now as musicians we are facing the fact that we have to adjust to the current climate. So. And I know heaps of people in Melbourne, for example, had heaps of music festivals and gigs overnight all got cancelled. And so we're facing this open close situation where you one minute you have your gig lined up, and the next minute it's like, okay, no restrictions have come in. We have to check out thing. So I think that's the biggest thing that's affecting us right now.
What was your prediction on COVID? I'm off by a year, but anyways, I thought like we have here on Canada Day is July 1st. I figured there's no way they're going to get us all together the biggest day of the year. We're in the capital, fucking hundreds of thousands of people. I said they're going to open up after Canada Day. I was obviously wrong, but did you have a prediction on when COVID was going to... Shut up, Bam.
When it first initially broke out, so we know that it first initially broke out in the Asian regions. And so when it first broke out there, I'm half Asian, so like I understand and I've traveled and worked in those regions as well. So we had things like SARS and other
that's right.
Epidemics, not pandemics.
That's right.
In the region. So they were very prepared in the sense where like I know that they were very quick to respond to those things. And I know that there wasn't initially, there were issues around that, but they were in a sense, we're not quick to, but I guess more prepared because people, for example, I lived and grew up in Japan for many years, and it's normal for them to wear masks.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So that's what I mean by like, I guess emotionally prepared in that sense, where like it's if you just have a normal flu or a cold, you just put a mask on, you carry on that way.
I'm not against that. If you're sick and you want to wear a mask and not get someone else sick, I get that. Hopefully they pick that up here. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like for me, that's fairly normal because I've lived both in the East and the West. Whereas I know living in the West and even in Australia, there are people who are just like, I'm not going to wear a mask. That's
here. That's here in Canada. That's our attitude up here. Yeah.
So I think from a experience perspective, the East was a lot more prepared. So looking at that, I was like, okay, well, they'll probably just contain it. That's what I kind of figured would happen because they had before. They've successfully had contained other smaller pandemics previously. Right. So I didn't sit there and go, okay, I'm going to cancel everything, all my plans for the US. I'm going to cancel my UK plans, and because I had things all lined up to travel.
Right.
And so I just went, okay, they'll it's in that region, they'll contain it there. But then they weren't able to. It's crazy, and it spread, and next minute it was everywhere.
Yep.
And so I don't know the date where this will end. I don't think anyone really does, but I then looked at the Spanish flu as an example of how long this might take. And
that's a good example.
That was a big pandemic, and that lasted at least 4-something years.
Yeah.
So, and we are technically in halfway through the second year.
That's right. That's right.
Bam, did you last longer than we think?
Well, Bam, did you have a prediction?
No, not really. You know, it just like I said, I'm American, and I know how my people are, and they fucking nuts. And you know, half of them is gonna be like, I'm not doing it, and you know, a quarter of them is like, I don't trust none of them anyways. And you know, it's just you got so much going on, and I knew it was just gonna get out of hand, especially from New York. It's a cesspool. Everywhere you touch, somebody else touched it 10 times before you got there. You know what I mean? So it was going to spread. You know what I mean? So
that's why I didn't want to visit you when you were down there.
You know, so I was like, damn, okay, it just got out of control. And now people are trying to get it back in control, but you're still getting that resistance. And it's like, why are you resisting? You know what I mean? Like, it don't make no sense, you know? Half the people did it.
Though, like we're living in a time where information is spread so quick. I mean, yes, negative and
of course
spread, but we're living in a time where, like, if you look at, for example, the bubonic plague and things that happened throughout history, which kept coming back over and over the course of the Middle Ages and even earlier than that.
Right.
They didn't have the means to spread information.
No, they didn't. That's exactly
to give each other warning. And we also have some of, hopefully, the best minds in the world working together to try and find vaccines or cures and things. Where if you were basically back in the day, it's quite horrific. I was doing some reading into it, and like if the plague hit your town, the I guess the council or the people in charge would come and board up the house. They nail you into your home. Like they shut the doors and windows and lock you in.
Yep.
And just went, that's it. Nobody goes near that house, and you just die.
Pretty much.
That worked.
So now the people are, you know, I understand where they're coming from about, you can't tell me what to do, but
Yeah.
you know, I understand what needs to be done, and the problem is the information. You got people saying you need to wear this mask. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Don't say that because now you're making me say I don't want to wear it.
Oh,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes, yes, yes.
So, it's suggested
There's an
that we
approach
do
to
this.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. And the problem is the governments around the world don't know how to word things to certain people a certain way. You got what I mean? You can't just talk to black people one way, white people one way, and then tell everybody you gotta fucking do it. They're not gonna do it. They're not going to do it.
Well,
You know?
Bam, like I'm not gonna lie to you. When I wear a mask and I walk into a store, there's a guilt of me thinking that I think they're like I'm a thief. Like I'm not a thief. I've never stole anything. But one time I wore a mask and I went to my local convenience store and I kind of went and I walked in and I smirked under my mask. He obviously didn't see it, and I kind of gave him the guns, like, hey, and and he went, and I had to put my mask down and said, hey, it's me, like, it's okay. Like, it was just my fingers. Like, I'm just kidding. And I'm like, man, this was, because I was like, it was kind of like, I felt weird with it on, so I figured let's make a joke, but it wasn't funny, I guess. But you know what I mean? So
It's just not normal things, The world is messed up.
But but the thing is, there's two things I would love for some habits to change with this pandemic. If you're sick and you're going in public, please wear a mask. That's cool. That's one. I wish that can change, which I doubt it will here in Canada. And two, it's like, frig, I forgot what number 2 was. Oh shit, wipe your shit down with Lysol wipes and stuff. Like people are wiping it down now, and I'm like, for 100 years I've been asking you to wipe that thing down. It's disgusting. Now you're doing it.
Wash your hands, people.
You
That's
you
all.
need a
Wash
certain
your
amount of
hands.
percentage of humans to die before you wipe that thing down. Like, I never. This is a true story, Kat. I'm so sorry. This is a true story. You can ask if Alex is still listening. Ask him. He has kids. I do not eat birthday cake with people blowing them out. For years they would go, and I was like, oh, I'm not touching that. You want a piece? Nah,
how you think the common cold spring?
But dude,
right there.
It's funny because people don't do that now, and it's like I've been doing that for years. It had nothing. I was just like, damn, did you not see the spit that came out of that kid? I'm like, I'll take ice cream. I'll take ice cream instead. There's Alex. Oh, there. You see, 100%. I swear to God, it's been years I don't eat cake from people. You're gonna blow it out. I'm like, oh, you ain't touching that cake. That's disgusting. You know what I mean? But there's a few things that need to change, and it's just to be sanitary, just to be clean and not infect others. And I hope, like, once the pandemic is over, and I have a fucking huge feeling that the wiping thing is gonna get less and less forgotten. It's just human nature. It's just the way we do things. You know what I mean? So.
But now with the pandemic hurting the artists, I get it, and a lot of artists is reevaluating what they need to do with themselves and how to get their money and so on. And honestly, if they really sit back and think about it, it's a good thing in a sense, because now it really shows how vulnerable they are in this business. You know what I mean? How much of the business of it they don't have control of. You know what I mean? So, a lot of them is going to bring their entrepreneurial game up. You get what I mean? Instead of being the guy who got a show booked, I'm going to be the guy who created the show. You know what I mean? So I'm controlling if the show goes on or not. You see what I'm saying? So,
but Kat, what's the positives of the pandemic for you?
Well, I mean, there's the ones where, like, we made choices to stay in Australia. So
good choice.
yeah, which at the time we were so devastated because, I mean, you book shows in another country and you're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. You've got everything.
I would be excited too.
And then you're told it's all gone. Like, your whole plan for the whole, like, next 12 months to 24 months.
You didn't get the boat ready just in case? Like,
No.
I'm going I'm going anyways.
Well, we were just like, oh, what do we do now? So we got more time with family, which I think is such a precious
That's true.
thing. It's such a precious thing. And I'm so grateful for that, because I know there are family members in other countries who in lockdown haven't even been able to see other family members as well.
Right.
Like, so I'm so grateful for the fact that I've spent time with family. The other thing also is that we didn't change directions in the sense where we weren't going to do these things, but I got to do things that I wanted to do sooner, which was build a music studio for myself, like a recording studio. So instead of obviously having this buffer of cash, because I'd saved in case we went to the US and things went belly up. I made sure when you go somewhere overseas, you don't want to go there with no money in your pocket. You want to go there having saved something or having some cash, because anything could happen. Like,
of course,
especially in another country, if you fall sick or you have an accident, I mean, anytime you're driving, that's a risk in itself. So you don't want to end up in hospital in another country. So these sort of things we planned for and tried to make sure we had a buffer for, and I was able to invest that kind of stuff, the funding that would have as buffer money, into building a recording studio where I can write, record, and have complete freedom to explore my creative side and be able to make the music that I want to do. And I'm not reliant on another person sitting there going, no, you can't do that with your music.
Okay, Kat, you opened your own studio. You got your own studio. It's an extreme positive. I had my own studio in 2005. That's where me and Bam met. I didn't know how to record music. I had to hire a guy. Are you in that situation?
I actually taught myself how to
Good for you.
Do my own production.
No,
so.
I was the boss. I was too ignorant and young that I was like, no, I don't want to press record on anybody. No, I don't know. I was just it was influenced about, hey, open a record. I used to work with an artist, and they said open a music studio, and he'll get to record for free, and then we get to get people to come in and record and cover the cost of the studio. That's how Bam and I became good friends, and it obviously didn't happen that way. The guy never came in. The engineer never wanted to record, blah, blah, blah. And I was stuck with a recording studio, not knowing how to record music.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like and I'm spending all my time in this place. I was like, I got to get out. You know what I mean? I met some great people, great connections. Doors have opened up in the entertainment industry. I cannot deny that. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it was the first time in my life that I realized don't open a business if you don't know how to do every aspect of it. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
It's nice to buy a studio, but then you taught yourself. That's great. I just don't rely on the next person to be like, well, I'm supposed to record at 2 and he's not here. You know what I mean? Or she's not here to replace, to help me. Don't do that. That's what I did. Don't do that. What do you mean, Bam? Here we go. Cat, let's go. Let's go.
No. As an artist, she did the right thing.
Yes.
Now she can record when she wants, when she feels, when she can write. She can do whatever she wants.
Well, Bam, you learned how to record too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
She can do it all when she want, how she want. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because she can always take it somewhere else and get it refined and get it perfect to what she don't know. You get what I mean? But for the most part, what she want down is down. And when she bring her vision, she don't have to sit and explain her vision.
Yes.
You can hear it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Now we can boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you're right.
And that saves you money too when you go to another studio and you try to, fix everything up. Yeah, I get it.
So, Kat, this negative might be the biggest positive you've ever done. You got to make a move where you got your own studio now.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things, like, I try not to sit there and go, oh no, it's the end of the world. Because whatever door closes, it doesn't mean that that's the end. You can always reopen another door, or you make another, like, if there's a mountain there, you just find a way over it, around it, or dig a hole through it.
You know what? Or kick it down. If that same door closed on you and you want it open, you do something, you kick that thing down.
Yeah.
Like, it's me again. Hello. You know what I mean? Yeah. My whole life I've been told no. I remember getting into DJing, and I DJed at this one club where I promoted, and this woman, Bam, I don't know if I ever told you the story. This lady's like, can you play this? And I was like, you know the song's fucking terrible? And I was like, no, I'm not playing that. She said, you will never DJ in this city again. I ended up owning the biggest DJing company in our city. After that, I was like, I will never DJ again. I will never, never. I was like, okay, cool.
Terrible.
You prove me wrong. I'd run into this lady, and I didn't talk trash like I normally do, but we made eye connections where she went from blonde to dark hair because she's trying to change who she was, because I was like, I'll never DJ here again. Nice try. But that's the thing. People will try and shut that door on you. They will actually try to be like jealousy, opportunity, timing. They will try to always shut it. Owners, club owner, everyone. Bam knows there is no.
I've been through everything,
When they're closing the door, my foot's in that way. I'll stick my foot there. Don't close the door. I'm still coming through. And that's the thing. In their case, COVID came. They tried to close the door on you, and you said, "Screw that! I'm opening up my own studio, and I'm gonna kick every door open." That's the way to do it.
So, Kat, people want to know your top 5 artists.
Top 5.
Top 5.
It doesn't matter what genre. It doesn't matter what order. Your top 5.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna pick one that I.
If you have 6, it doesn't count though. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Rod Stewart. That's like one person who I really hope like I can one day watch live. Because of so many memories that I have growing up. I guess because my dad's from the UK, so it was an influence playing at home and listening to like Sailing or Maggie, and like so like there are so many songs from his that I can just literally sitting washing the dishes. I'm like, yay, I love this song.
That's awesome.
So
That's a feeling.
Rod Stewart. Yeah, and like it's it's like I said, like memories that songs attached to.
100%.
They become so much part of who you are. So
exactly.
Yeah, Rod Stewart. Love the Seekers. I would say Beyonce. She's such an incredible live performer. She was one of the first concerts that I saw, and
nice.
I cried during her concert when she came because she was so good. And it's one of those things like when someone takes you on that journey on a live, they're performing live, but you're on that journey with them, and so
that's awesome.
She was incredible. Let me think of another 2. Wait, I'm up to the 6th one doesn't count, so I have to make sure these 2 count. Let me think. Michael, I loved his stuff. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I like Michael too, but I was more of a Prince fan. That's okay.
Like
I got you. Don't worry about it.
I didn't cry. Like I know so many friends of mine cried when he passed away. And it wasn't until I was doing the laundry of all things, and there was the back and forth of the coverage of his passing, and it's all over. When something happens like that, it's all over the news, and there's nothing else on the news for like several days. And it wasn't until I was in the laundry and the song "You Are Not Alone" came on, and I was like, just burst into tears. So,
I think you would love this. It happens in most resorts, and I know you guys don't need to go to resorts because you live in a beautiful country. But we and Bam have to travel to these resorts. The whole country is a resort, I know. But me and Bam, we've been to a few resorts where they actually have this entertainer that does the whole history of Michael Jackson, the dancing. The whole 9. It is ridiculously amazing. To the point where I brought my dad with me, and he looked back. He's like, damn, he's convincingly good. Like, you know what I mean? He looked at me like, God, this guy's real. And it is the whole thing. Like, they have these screens up, and then they go and they do a whole change of clothes. And it's the whole history of Michael Jackson. It was super, super entertaining. I've seen him in Cuba, and I've seen a different guy in Dominican, and it was one of the better shows, hands down, by far. Yep. It's definitely recommended. If you ever go to a resort, they usually have a Michael Jackson show. It's amazing.
I'm going to have to go watch that then.
I'm telling you, you gotta go.
Last one. Pink. If you watch her live, I think it was her, I forget what the tour was called.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't think so. But
there's one on Netflix. She has her little kids with her and stuff. It was a quick little. You should check that out. Yeah.
She performed live while doing circus acts, and she managed to hold every single note. Like she was up in the air doing aerial and
crazy.
All this incredible stuff.
That's crazy.
And she's still in tune. And then she's just like flying around in the air, and I'm not talking like she's got these wires on her and she's just on a podium and the podium's moving around. Like she trained apparently with like circus like professionals. I forget what they were called. Right. And so she's singing and doing circus acts at the same time in the air, and I was like, wow.
I try to talk in front of people and not pee my pants. Those girls twirling and stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like.
Yeah, so she took like live performance to that next level, and then she like gets off that, and then walks across the stage, picks up a guitar, and just starts singing. And
it's true. She's a great performer.
I'm like, what can't you do? You're amazing.
Stop it! You're making the rest of us look bad. You know what I mean?
Get back, pick up a guitar. Terrible.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, Kat, we should. That's awesome. I like those. You know what? We love asking people's top 5. It shows a bit of who they are, right? and they show some people show a bit of the history and then the versatility, like Pink. I love it. That was a great top 5. But talking about 5, we have 5 random questions to ask you, just to get people to know you. Whoever's listening to the podcast wants to know a little bit more about Cat. What was your first job ever? I'm talking about the first paycheck you've ever gotten. What was the first job?
First job ever, as an adult, or
I don't know. Your first paycheck.
Like,
First paycheck. Your first.
Parents make you work.
No parents, because parents are just mean like that. That's free labor. No, no, your first paycheck. You went and applied for a job, and then you got it, and you got your first paycheck.
My first paycheck, I would have, official first paycheck would have been when I was 18 and 17, 18, and I worked in a call center. So that was probably my first actual cash in hand, like someone paid me. I was a kid and I was paid to sing on stage.
Wow.
So I was pretty stoked. I think I was 12 or 13. I got on the stage and I was paid $200, and I was really happy with it.
You know what, Kat?
Wow.
I'm going to tell you the God honest truth. When you answered I was 17 or 18 at a call center, I went, yes, she's one of us. And then she went and said, when I was 13, I made $200. Bam, did you not feel that? I was like,
it hurt.
She deflated me because I was late in my 16, and my dad's like, I ain't paying for shit no more. I ain't buying you shoes. You gotta get a job. And I went to talk to my friend Carmen. I was like, Carmen, you're hiring? He's like, yeah, I'm friends with him. And I worked. And this is the God honest truth. You guys will die laughing. I used to work 12 hours a week and complain. And people used to say, what are you complaining about? You need more hours? I was like, I want less hours. Like, this is a true story. I want less hours. I don't want to be here, But yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
If it is any consolation, I didn't get to see any of the cash though, because like as a kid, I would get paid, and then my mom was like, "Cool, that's going to your school fees." Or
that's good though. That's good.
Going to the rent, and I was like, "But I want to buy something with," and they're like, "No, that's
but
going
this is true. I remember. See, we're talking about paychecks here. Bam, my first actual weird job, was landscaping as a kid. I used to like mow grass for this this place. And anyone that knows I have a sensitive stomach, right? So this gets to myself. So I'm just cutting the grass for about 4 or 5 hours, and I obviously don't want to run over this rock, right? Because the lawnmower will get all screwed up. So I walk over with my gloves, and I go to pick up the rock, and it's freaking poo. It's dog poo, and it's soft, and my whole hand's in it. I'm like, ah! I was so mad. And you know what? Now that I go back, I need to talk to that guy. He only paid me $50 for that child labor back in the day. We need to talk. Him and he owes me money. You know what I mean? But that was really my first like cash gig type of thing. And then I worked at McDonald's.
Terrible. Yeah. Name one thing on your bucket list, Kat.
I want to see the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. I have never had the chance to see it. So as a kid,
okay, that's cool.
You'll have to add it to your travel list, including Australia.
No, we just want to go to Australia. We're lazy. We're going one place and that's it. We're just like,
as a kid,
we just stay put after. We come in, we just plant our suitcase. We're Australians now. That's it. We ain't leaving for 20 more years.
Where's the beer?
Is it true you guys have giant snakes and kangaroos?
We do actually.
And big ass spiders.
I don't know if we have the biggest snakes. I think they have bigger snakes.
And then you have spiders. Like people try to scare the. I always say I want to go there, and they're like, "Oh, we don't want to go there. You can get bitten by some." And I'm always like, "Oh shit, I'm scared of those things."
If it helps, I've been here for years and never been bitten by anything.
I know. But you haven't met my luck yet. You haven't seen my luck.
I'm covered in luck.
See, yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be hanging on to you because I'm like, I don't know. I'm just scared. I don't know, man. I'm a wuss with little bugs. You know what I mean? Like there was a bug flying in my bedroom one time, and I stood up for 3 hours till I killed it, till I found it, because I wasn't sleep. It's not funny, Bam. It ruined my sleep. I was
a studio session with a producer one time, and there's like in Australia, I don't know whether you guys have it over there, but we have flying cockroaches, and they're like massive.
Water bugs. Like that big.
So you guys call hold on a second. So you call it flying cockroaches and we call it water bugs?
Well, in the States call them water bugs.
Oh, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, big cockroaches, they fly. You slap them off the wall there and go,
Oh, no.
Yeah, we have
they're
them
everywhere.
here. Oh,
And when you step on them, they go.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had that, but I was in the studio with a producer, like really big, solid bloke. Like if you met him in the dark alley, you'd think, think twice about that
When I
because
got a bug.
yeah, he's super sweet, nicest guy, but just like really big guy. So you'd think, oh, you wouldn't get in fisticuffs with him.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're in the studio, and long story short, this flying cockroach flew through the room. I don't know how it got into the studio, but it flew through the room.
Yep.
Next minute, he's out the door.
See?
Screaming I've never heard such a high pitch from a man.
You put 5 guys in an alleyway or bugs, I'll take the 5 guys. I don't like the bugs. They freak me out. I don't like it. Ugh. Anyways, give me one word that describes your music style.
Emotions.
Ooh.
Nice.
Babe, are we ever gonna get one that's actually gonna overlap each other?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
We've probably done, this is what, the 126th episode, more than half have been interviews, and not one artist has repeated the exact style as the other.
That's good.
It's crazy. We're just like, they're eventually going to repeat, obviously, but no, not even.
Not yet. Not yet. Besides music.
A lot of words to choose from. So.
True.
Besides music, what other hobbies you have?
I like cooking.
Cooking's good.
Cooking. I like cooking.
Cooking's good.
We come to Australia. You're going to cook us a meal. What is it?
Oh.
Wow, you just threw in the fucking kitchen, huh? Terrible, bro. Terrible.
Was she going to cook in the living room, Bam? What do you want me to do? She can cook whatever she wants.
Terrible. Just threw in the kitchen.
It could have been a barbecue. You're the one that's thinking wrong.
Actually, right? Australia, you have to, if you come here, you have to have an Aussie barbecue. You have to have,
yes,
you have to
of course.
When you come here.
See,
but I make a really mean pie. So,
pie.
Yeah.
She likes pie.
Bam's a great cook, too, by the way.
Really?
Bam's the cook.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Well, when you come here, I can cook something up for you, and you can cook something up for me, and then we can.
What would you cook for her, Bam?
I don't know. Probably, since she ain't been to the States, I think I'll do some chicken for her first.
Yay!
Yes, I will have to do the chicken.
The chicken's good.
Gotta break in with the chicken first. Then, if she's curious, then we can keep going.
Bam, you have a pretty cool chicken story when we went to the cottage and the tornado. The tornado hit us.
The pickled chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go to the cottage. We there. Power goes out. Okay.
A tornado hit us.
Whatever. Power gone. Power gone.
Power's gone for a whole week.
All right. You ever see people scramble for coffee in the morning? These guys. I'm a tea drinker. Okay, I don't drink coffee, so there's no power.
So I'm next to you because we're sitting next to each other, right?
And I'm like, look at these fools trying to make coffee with the grounds, and they trying, grounds going all everywhere. I'm dying laughing. Somebody go, here's some chicken. I said, okay, cool. And then they had a big thing of pickle juice sitting there. And they finished pickles. I said, give me the pickle juice. I said, why? I said, I'm going to make barbecue pickle juice, pickled chicken. And I barbecued up the chicken in the pickle juice.
True.
Perfect. Comes out.
It was great.
Delicious. Oh, yeah.
Great. Great. I had no idea about the pickle juice situation. He's like, how you like the chicken? It's fantastic.
I got pickle juice in the fridge right now. I plan on cooking that in a couple of days, actually. You think
the best part about the best part about this whole coffee thing is me and Bam have about 5 solutions to give these people, and we decided to give them none and just keep watching the disaster happening.
It's early Saturday morning.
We're like, should we tell them? No.
Nope.
And it is just a source of entertainment.
They're struggling. They were struggling.
There's no television and no electricity, no internet. Why not? You've got live entertainment right there.
No, it was interesting. We were there 7 days. I think did the tornado hit us after the second day?
Oh wow.
Third or fourth day.
No.
It was later.
You're probably right.
It was later after the kids left.
It was probably mid, and all of a sudden the tornado comes. You see the cloud, and it didn't hit us directly, but chairs were flying and stuff was happening. And then all of a sudden, there's no more electricity, and that was it. So now the beer fridge, the beer cooler turned into the food cooler, and then the beer and booze started to turn into the warm stuff because food's more important, so everyone's overcooking, and it was crazy. That was fun. That was a good time, though.
Good time.
Good time.
You
Last
know,
time I ever went camping. But anyways, so,
people running from the storm on jet skis and shit. It was hilarious.
oh, it was crazy. It was definitely a crazy moment. Kat, so what do you do for fun?
I do for fun.
Yes. Put music
I-
aside. You put music aside. You're gonna.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Oh, see, I had to tell her. She's like, writing and recording. No. Music aside.
Music. I actually really love being in nature. So I like walking, which sounds really boring, but if you
Sounds
if
good.
you go hiking and stuff, you
Yeah.
find these beautiful things like waterfalls, and so that's what I love doing. I find it very peaceful. But when there isn't a pandemic on, I like hanging out with my friends, and we go dancing. So that's something that I really love doing when everything's open and it's safe to do so. So
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Dancing
love-
with my friends is a problem, you know. Somebody think they can surf and shit when they on the dance floor. They be acting up, you know. But I'm not saying no names. I'm just saying some of my friends are a little crazy on the dance floor, you know. I don't know.
If I come and visit you, I'm leaving him behind. If I come visit, I'm not bringing him.
No, hanging out with my friends, they got problems. You never know. You just never know. You know it's gonna be a good night. Bottom line, you know it's gonna be a good night, but you just don't know which way it's gonna go that good. You know what I mean? It just.
Last time we really hung out together was one night in Dominican where I think I fell asleep at the bar, and then you went and changed. You remember that night?
Shit, damn.
You remember that night?
That was a good night.
It was a good night. It was one of those nights that said, let's go to the disco, and there's a disco, and usually it's busy, but obviously we didn't. You know when you go on vacation, there's no phone or watches, or we have no idea what time it is. I'm like, oh my God, there's no one in here. So we tell the DJ, hey, can you play some American hip hop? And he's playing it, and Bam's like, I gotta go to the washroom, and I don't know. I think I shut my eyes for 2 minutes. It might have been longer. I woke up to the bar was packed. There was go-go dancers on rollerblades, and Bamboo had a new outfit on. And I was like, what the hell?
Well, my room was close to the disco, so I had
don't
a
know.
quick change. But
the thing is, I didn't know your clothes changed. I knew something was different, though.
Yeah.
It was like, next day, I'm like, did you change? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, it made more sense. But yeah, that was the last time we went. I didn't do anything that night. I just sat there. No, we always have fun, though.
that was
Always
fun.
are. But Kat, so hopefully the pandemic is over. Everyone gets their vaccinations, and shit comes back to normal. What's next for you?
Next for me,
Yes.
so we're doing a lot of recording at the moment. We're gearing up for next year with the hope that next year is much better than this year. And I'd like to be back on the road performing and doing shows, and obviously being able to promote I think it's important to be accessible to your fans in person as well. So
Yes.
being able to promote my music and be able to do it on the stage, and then actually hug my fans and hug the people who are actually part of the tech crew to say thank you for making this event possible, and
Yeah,
thank you for
it's
being part of
huge. It's
the process.
important.
Yeah, whereas at the moment if we can do gigs, everything's all social distanced, and I think human touches are very beautiful, and
When you
they say that
shake-
you live longer.
When you
do
shake someone's
actually-
hand and introduce yourself, there's a connection there. Because I went for a job interview and I walked in, I was just like, do I shake his hand or am I rude to shake his hand? Like, bro, like, why are you touching me, right? So the human interaction is
It's a big part.
huge, and people don't really understand that it is. You know what I mean? When you just get to know someone and get close to someone, and even a hug or a touch, there's a connection there that we don't have anymore. Like now, when I stand near someone, I'm like, I have no idea what to do anymore. My whole life has been one way, and within the last year, it's been another way, right? So it's been interesting, though.
We've had that even within family, though. Like when we do catch up with family, we've had cousins who are like, "Oh, are we hugging? Are we not hugging?"
I know. That's weird alone, you know. Yeah.
And that's like with your family. So the next level is then when you go out to do shows and you're out there and it's like, can I hug my fan? Can I not? Okay, no social distancing. Like, where are we at? And the rules are social distancing, so that's what we're doing now. But once everything lifts and everyone's back, it's whether people will be comfortable again to go back to that human connection that we used to have, which was so beautiful before. So I hope that comes back.
It will. It should get there. So, Kat, once you go on tour, you're gonna do Facebook or Instagram Live, of course, right? You're gonna get us to go through your journey with you, right?
Of course.
Maybe
yeah.
come to Canada.
We're looking at the visas to come to Canada because it's easy for Australians to get to Canada and vice versa, apparently.
We got you.
Wait, you need visas to get there?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's just the way of the world. Visas everywhere. You can't go somewhere without one nowadays. But depends on your passport as well. So, but I know Australians have to have a visa to get to Canada and the US, and vice versa. So
really, so the US visa. Okay, all right.
See, Bam's looking at it. He's like, if I have to visit, see, Bam's already calculating.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. Bam's like, oh, shit. All right, cool. But Cat, so people can follow you on Cat Thompson Official on Instagram, right? And he can get you on all major streaming platforms. Cat Thompson, you're on everything. You're easy to find. There's been a few artists on here that was extremely hard to find. We had to try and break it down, but that's awesome. All your music's on there. Hopefully they can follow you on Instagram and you can bring them through the journey live while you're doing some of your events in the future. That'll be fantastic. It's you know what I mean? It's been great that we got to hook up through the internet.
Word.
We try to find the positives in the internet, because the internet can be so nasty. It's a nasty world sometimes, and people can comment and be just totally freaking rude. But this is one moment that is like two people can connect literally a week ago and then, become friends and follow each other and, hopefully that each other's journeys and continue to go on and hopefully have you on again, But Kat, before I play your music video, who are you going to call? Can you tell me more about that? Can you tell me what the song's about, who produced it, and tell me a bit about, how long the video took to make?
So I worked with my team. I'm very blessed. I've got a very beautiful team here in Australia who I work with for my music videos, for music production and stuff like that. So when we went to the studio and decided to write about the song and work on the song itself, the journey of the song was basically, luckily not necessarily a personal journey. Sometimes when we create songs, it's about the people that we love around us or experiences that we've seen other people go through. So this song was one of those songs where you've been through a relationship with that person who an ex just didn't treat you the way they should, ran around with other people, did things they shouldn't do, and you're at that stage where you're over it now, the relationship's over, and then you get that phone call and it's like, hey, how you doing? And you're like, oh, it's the ex. And they're like, want to start up again? Hey, like let me slip back into your DMs. And it's like, no, thank you. But you've gotten to the stage where you're over that relationship and you're like, no, you didn't treat me the way you should have when you had me. So who you can call now, because I'm not going to be there because I deserve better. So it's an anthem for not just for women but for men as well, or anyone who's been in a relationship where they just didn't get treated the way they should. And it's that call or that text, and we've all had it at some point where
we all did.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, let's start up this toxic relationship again, and you've got the power and the strength to say, no, thank you, I deserve better. And
you have that one line: wasting my time is also wasting yours.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, wow, is that not the truth?
There you go.
It was awesome. I was just like, it was one line in there. I was just like, wow. I really, really was like, that's facts. It's absolutely facts. Wasting mine is wasting yours. So I like that. Your song came out great. I'm a fan. I'm listening to you. You've been sweet since day one. You've been genuine. You've been punctual. And punctual means a lot to me. Bam knows that. You know what I mean? We exchange information back and forth to get this podcast going, and I appreciate every moment of it. There's other people that just don't do it as well. As long as you do what you keep doing, you will succeed. Succeed. You hear that, Bam? Succeed. If she does what she
say you're sweet, but I got my eye on you. Still watching.
Oh, yeah. That's why he wears glasses. But anyways, Kat, anytime you have a new project. Kat, anytime you want to come back on, feel free. If there's anything you want to get off your chest, we have a platform here called Shooting the Shit Podcast. Feel free to come on. We can talk about anything. If you have anything coming up, if you're ever heading back to LA, get on here before we head down. You head down there. we'll do it up again. Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
We're definitely.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We're gonna be playing your video. What is it? You Gonna Call? Is that what the song's called?
Who you gonna call?
Who you gonna call? All right, Bam. Don't call nobody, Bam. Listen to her words. All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Kat. Enjoy your night. Have
Bye.
a good one, guys. Peace.